If you like medieval games and you enjoy the adrenaline rush of PvP combat and full loot games where you lose everything at the drop of a dime, why not look at Legacy Steel and Sorcery? It's a game that had a rocky launch, but might just have that special something that you are looking for. So if you're wondering whether you should buy it, my short answer is yeah, but not just yet. Give it a few days, months, or years. And why? If you stick around, I'll explain it to you. So let's start with what Legacy Steel and Sorcery is doing right. Because when it actually is working, it is a very, very fun game. And the first thing I can think of would be the engaging exploration, because unlike other extraction-based games, exploration in Legacy feels rewarding and quite intuitive. For example, Dark and Darker had a very cool concept of moving through the dungeon crawler scene, but its leveling design could be very frustrating and often felt like you were in a dead end whenever you were being constantly killed in small confined spaces. Here, everything is just clicking. You want to keep moving forward, checking every room, every nook, every cranny, every tree, because it always feels like it's worth your time. And I think a lot of this has to do with the scale of the openness of the map. And it kind of directs gamers to want to incorporate their gameplay into the PvE aspect of the game. Next is the strategic combat, because combat isn't just about gear in this game, it's about skill. There's a real sense of outplay potential here, because where your movement, spell usage, and decision making matter more than just the weapons you bring in is what's bringing this game a heightened sense of reality. People are enjoying it because if you do have skill, you are being rewarded for it. You're not just being rewarded for having that stronger bow, the stronger weapons that can just obliterate people in split seconds. You actually are having to do complete combat, and knowing your skills like stuns to death kills, just very fluid, very fun to play with. Next are the development support that is being offered to us currently, because this game launched with a lot of issues. No sugarcoating it, folks, but the devs did push 2 major patches on day one and spun up additional servers. So that's some serious commitment to making sure that the game actually works and showing the fan base that they are not just trying to grab money. They do want this game to move forward and progress. The X factor for this game is pretty straight, clear cut. Some games have it. You play it for a bit, you step away, and then you can't stop thinking about it. That's what keeps games alive in the long term, and Legacy has it. This is something that strikes me in a remote sense of like MOBAs, like League of Legends or Marvel Rivals. For me, I play it, I get frustrated, I step away, but I'm constantly thinking about how could I go back in there and do this better. And you know, when I die, I'm actually telling myself, oh, I should have pushed that space bar or the Q button or the E or the R. And this is stuff that I don't do in other games. That X factor itself is really what makes a game like this excessively addicting to people. And I think that they've done it right, and they're driving it home very well in this game. Of course, not everything is perfect. Legacy Steel and Sorcery has a lot of real issues, and especially at their launch, there was a large amount of problems, which I believe led to a lot of disappointment and really slowed down the momentum of the game's progression. One of these things would have been the technical problems at launch. Now, the first thing to address here is that there was a $25 buy-in to get into this early access, and I believe that made gamers hold this company to a level of accountability which they did not feel was matched. And this is a problem really with a lot of early release games nowadays. They're looking for money to infuse to keep the company rolling so that they can develop more, but it's early access, and I think it's kind of unfair that companies don't think through these launch problems, considering that they are happening over and over again with every game that's being launched. So there is a lot of history there to learn by. I just hope that someday somebody does come through and think about it, because on release day, this game was nearly unplayable due to major lag, audio glitches, and performance drops. While these issues have been addressed quickly, that first impression really hurt the way that this game moved forward, as a lot of mixed reviews came pouring in. However, if you do look at the negative reviews in Steam comments, you'll notice that most of those people didn't even play an hour in this game, which means the game just wasn't for them to begin with. Next were the server struggles, because even with extra servers being added, some players were still reporting connection problems. Matchmaking was very rough, to say the least, and the lag spikes were extremely frustrating, because timing does matter in these games. This is PvP. You have a lot of stuff carrying to this extraction point, and when you lag and die, there's nothing that could be more frustrating, and it just makes you want to set the game down. The first day also just got obliterated by these reviews, because the reputation, like I said before, was not living up to the expectations that the player base had that bought into this game. This was a rough launch. A flood of negative reviews came pouring in. Some people have already written the game off, where they just don't want to try the game again because they see that there is no future. And this really is making the player base feel the struggles of that new early access small studio launch, because this type of game does require there to be a large player base in order for it to work. So if there's not a lot of people to play, these extractions do not become fun. They don't exist. So definitely bad start on launch, but like I said before, the dev team is working to correct these things. So, should you buy Legacy still in Sorcery? Of course, you've already heard that my verdict is yes, but definitely, once again, give it some time and see if that player base sticks around and if they make the improvements that are needed in order for this game to work before you drop your hard-earned cash on it. The game is already way more playable than it was at launch, and the devs are clearly committed to fixing issues. If they keep this up, Legacy could become something special. Just keep an eye on it. It just might surprise you how popular this game can get whenever these bugs are worked out. And hey, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game. Are you playing Legacy yet, or what's been your experience while you were in game? Everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.